Alrighty, boys. I wanted to show you some of the synergies that I've been experimenting with because I couldn't sleep. So, one of the most interesting ones is ice and fire. So, it's not a good damage combo, but it's crazy. So, if you have ice as your primary, you can do a lot of shit with fire. You start with your ice trail, light it on fire, and you make a homemade smoke bomb that obscures vision, and you can revive your people in it. It's like a homemade bush. And, check this shit out. If you refreeze the smoke, it actually turns into solid cover, so you can either make a smoke bomb or you can make cover to get your friend up so you're not getting shot at. And at the same time, if you wait long enough, probably reviving and drinking potions and everything, it turns back into a smoke cloud. Another cool little thing that ice can give you is you make your ice cloud, and it deflects a lot of projectiles. If you're in the middle of it, you can't get shot by fire, and you can't get shot by electricity. So basically, it's just a giant cover bubble. Acid, however, does penetrate. Stone, ice and stone have good synergies too. If ice is your primary, you can make your trail, and if you follow up with a basic attack, it actually makes a freezing trail. If you're in long enough, it will freeze you. Hold on a second. Yeah, you just have to be in it long enough. And also, if you combo your cooldown with a boulder, it freezes it. Wherever the boulder lands, makes a freezing cloud. Another ice primary combo, it works pretty well with acid. You can basically take the first skill slot for acid where you leave sticky pools on the ground, and you can just do it with the ice primary. You just shoot your ice trails, and it turns it into fucking gigantic acid pools that last for a good amount of time, and they fuck you up. So I know you boys know if you freeze an acid bomb, it just becomes a solid mass, but if you have someone inside of it, and then you freeze it, it actually just blows up into a giant freeze cloud, and you can get a really, really easy kill. The freeze time is good enough to land enough shots for a kill, so that's pretty nice. Alrighty, boys, this one's one of my favorite combos. Acid and fire is just fucking ridiculous. Let's check out this DPS. So, with the acid primary, you know, you leave the sticky, the pools on the ground. You can actually light them on fire with your basic, and it does 20 ticks of damage per second. 20. That's fucking... that's bootleg. That's absolutely bootleg, and watch this shit. So, firewall. See, look at that. 6 per second. But, if you shoot it with your acid, look at that. It goes from 6 to 20 per second. Alchemical fire is absolutely no joke. And yeah, essentially, like, if you have a squad out in the distance or something and you know they're headed your way, fucking just spray the ground with a bunch of acid pools and then just light it on fire. And it all explodes into a giant alchemical fire. So, okay, ice and acid isn't really a good combo. It's not like a damaging combo, but if you're trying to get somewhere and someone's spraying you down with acid pools, you can just freeze it with a secondary. And then you can actually skate on it and doesn't do any acid doesn't do any harm. So you can actually use it to get somewhere quicker, but it is kind of tedious. You have to shoot each pool individually, but it does nullify all the damage, so it's a nice little counter. Now another synergy that I did not see coming is acid and wind. Usually wind is used to get rid of status effect, but if you shoot the stagnant pools, it actually blows up. It does like a good amount of damage. Watch this shit. Get her in a pool. And then, I guess it doesn't do it more, but it does leave that lingering effect. Versus like if you shoot at the clouds, it just makes them go away. So the acid primary and the electric surprised me too, because it basically treats it like it's water. So, if you shock it, it does the same thing you do when you shock the water. It just doesn't do extra damage, but it gives them the shock status effect. And another thing is if they're in an acid cloud, and you shock that, it actually, look, It's a Tesla coil. It'll shock anyone within the vicinity, so it's just a giant electric bomb. So, didn't see this coming, but it's really good. You can probably shock an entire fucking squad by doing this. Look, I'm this far away and I'm still getting shocked, so. Another counter to acid pools, and probably the most effective counter, is the Earth Goblin. Like, instead of having to freeze everything individually, you can just fucking one slam, it's all gone. So it's really nice for clearing a path if you have to fucking deal with that shit. And so a wind primary, it's just really straightforward. It's basically just to protect yourself from everything. I did test it when I was playing, and it does deflect a boulder. If you can time it right, it'll just make it kind of fly off of you and changes the trajectory. It's kind of hard to tell, but if you even hit it from behind, I don't know why this would be useful, but you can make it fly even further. So it just goes and goes and goes. But if you do that as it's coming towards you, it makes it fly off its course. And then I'll just do a little montage of everything else it does for it, but it's basic. So with a fire primary, there's not like a whole lot of synergies, honestly. This is the fully upgraded version, so where the firewall does more damage, but like the firewall goes from 6 to 12, but it also goes to 26 if you hit it with the acid, but it only lasts for 4 seconds. So if you meet one that you guys probably already figured out, but I thought I'd mention it anyway. Fire and stone work really nicely together. You can kind of just do this and then use your primary stone, or what I like to do is just set up a wall, and then anywhere you shoot from behind this thing, you're gonna have a million flame trails. And a cool little counter that's pretty obvious, but I just didn't think of it until now. If you're getting sniped at by a Frostboy, just go ahead and throw up a firewall. It melts it on contact, so you don't get one shot. You know, usually it takes about 2 to kill you, so you throw up a firewall, you should be pretty safe. And just like the ice boulder, you can absolutely do a flaming boulder. That starts a big fire on impact. For whatever reason, didn't set them on fire, so that's kind of